Chapter 24. And after 5 days came down the high priest Ananias with the elders, and a certain orator called Tertullus, and laid their informations against Paul before the governor. And he, having been called, Tertullus began to accuse, saying, Seeing we enjoy great peace through thee, and that excellent measures are executed for this nation by thy forethought, we receive it always and everywhere, most excellent Felix, with all thankfulness. But that I may not too much intrude on thy time, I beseech thee to hear us briefly in thy kindness. For finding this man a pest, and moving sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a leader of the sect of the Nazarenes, who also attempted to profane the temple, whom we also had seized, and would have judged according to our law. But Lysias the Chiliarch, coming up, took him away with great force out of our hands, having commanded his accusers to come to thee, of whom thou canst thyself, in examining him, know the certainty of all these things of which we accuse him. And the Jews also joined in pressing the matter against Paul, saying that these things were so. But Paul, the governor having beckoned to him to speak, answered, Knowing that for many years thou hast been judge to this nation, I answer readily as to the things which concern myself, as thou mayest know that there are not more than 12 days since I went up to worship at Jerusalem, and neither in the temple did they find me discoursing to anyone, or making any tumultuous gathering together of the crowd, nor in the synagogues, nor in the city. Neither can they make good the things of which they now accuse me. But this I avow to thee, that in the way which they call sect, so I serve my father's God, believing all things which are written throughout the law and in the prophets, having hope towards God, which they themselves also receive, that there is to be a resurrection both of just and unjust. For this cause I also exercise myself to have in everything a conscience without offence towards God and men. And after a lapse of many years I arrived, bringing alms to my nation and offerings, whereupon they found me purified in the temple, with neither crowd nor tumult. But it was certain Jews from Asia, who ought to appear before thee and accuse, if they have anything against me. Or let these themselves say what wrong they found in me when I stood before the council, other than concerning this one voice which I cried, standing amongst them. I am judged this day by you touching the resurrection of the dead. And Felix, knowing accurately the things concerning the way, adjourned them, saying, When Lysias the Chiliarch is come down, I will determine your affair, ordering the centurion to keep him, and that he should have freedom, and to hinder none of his friends to minister to him. Verse 24. And after certain days, Felix having arrived with Drusilla his wife, who was a Jewess, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned concerning righteousness and temperance, and the judgment about to come, Felix, being filled with fear, answered, Go for the present, and when I get an opportunity I will send for thee, hoping at the same time that money would be given him by Paul. Wherefore also he sent for him the oftener, and communed with him. But when 2 years were completed, Felix was relieved by Porcius Festus as his successor. And Felix, desirous to oblige the Jews to acquire their favour, left Paul bound.